Warning. Warning.
This show contains mature content. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
One angry New York City Puerto Rican decided to start a radio show, determined to piss the world off by shoving a mirror in front of society's face. He kicked them in the balls.
What are you? Who are you?
This is the Crotch Shot Radio Show. Crotch Shot Radio Show.
This is not a test. This is a broadcast transmission.
We're going to stay on the air.
And now, the Whippy.
Welcome to the Crotch Shot Radio Show, where we kick the issues in the balls. We are on an active war against bullshit. We would do anything and everything to expose bullshit. The ends sometimes justify the means, or if you're angry and want the truth exposed, then strap in and prepare to be shocked. This is Smash Mouth Talk. If you can't accept that, then fuck off. I'm your host, Louie B. I takes no bullshit from nobody. I actually expose the bullshit of society and chop it up into easy-to-digest chunks for you. Today won't be any different. We are doing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Trump Part the. I found a very famous, very, very funny comic, and I'm going to be interviewing her. It's not going to be a debate. This is basically to learn. I want to get to I want to get some understanding, because you watch the news, you see people, they're just not respecting each other because of political ideologies. And we seem to forget that damn, we're both Americans. We're like, both sides are Americans. Like me, I have a positive outlook on the new administration. But, someone might not feel the same way as me. And you know what? There's been a lot of name calling. And not a lot of discussion. Not a lot of, coming to understand why people feel the way they feel. And maybe where we could find some solution and work together to make sure this president represents all of us, like how that actor in Hamilton said, represents all of us. I'm getting her on right now, because I wanna play her intro. I don't wanna spoil the surprise. Well, you probably already know the surprise if you read the description of the show. But while we're waiting, let me play a little something for because this is the holiday season. Oh, hello, and wait, she's on. So let me play her intro. Ladies and gentlemen, the Latina pride of Boston. Stand-up comic, actress, producer, writer, the Young Turks contributor, beautiful hustler, Aida Margarita Parada Rodriguez.
A hilarious introduction.
Well, there you go. You know what the song almost was, right?
No, it wasn't. Oh,
I flinch every time I hear that song, though. When it gets to that hook, I flinch. Like, wait a minute. And I start thinking, oh, did I cheat on somebody? Wait a minute. I've been single for 12 years.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense song.
Like, I know when my mom divorced my dad, she was playing that on a loop.
Oh, snap.
I was like, and like, I was afraid to walk in the house. I was like, wait a minute. No, she's my mom. She's not mad at me, but I'm afraid I might just get slapped for being a man cub.
Wait to put Dad on blast.
You know what? Dad's a Rolling Stone.
Got it.
It's like, everyone knows it, and if they fall for it, then it's on them. At this point,
same. We just rejected my father's Facebook request.
Yeah.
Same.
What, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah. No. I'm like, I love my dad. Like, I bought him a Puerto Rican flag shirt for early Father's Day present, so he could have a shirt for a salsa dance party in Coney Island, which we call Puerto Rican Disneyland. So and he came out with the straw hat and the glasses, looking like the dictator of Puerto Rico. I'll show.
Donald Trump.
Okay, right to it. So the reason why I wanted to have you on is because, I've been searching for people who are well, okay, correct me if you're wrong. Are you a Hillary supporter?
No, I was a Bernie supporter.
A Bernie.
And a default. I was. I changed my political affiliation just to vote for Bernie. Because in California, in the primaries, you can't vote for a candidate unless you are registered in that party.
Right. So okay. So first question, what are your thoughts on the allegations that Hillary stole it from Bernie?
Were they allegations, or wasn't it actually what happened?
I'm being nice.
Okay. Quite honestly, and I've said this while being on the Young Turks, I do, though I am an avid Bernie supporter, I feel like it's a blessing that Bernie didn't go forward, because he's more of an activist, and he stands on the front line for us, and I just felt that him being a politician, being in the White House, he would be compromised. And I think that the best thing that happened to us in terms of Bernie is that we still have him. He still belongs to us. Would I have liked to have seen him in the White House? Yes, because I believed in him. But I feel that it's best that he is where he is, because he is for sure an activist and being true to what he said he would be true to for us.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because my god sister who's in California, she was actually an elected delegate for Bernie, and she told me in Philadelphia during the Democratic National Convention, like, the Hillary supporters were doing the Bernie supporters wrong. Like, almost.
They were doing yeah, they were.
So, what are your thoughts on that, though?
I think that this election process, this whole election season has been one of the more interesting ones, because the level of dissent and division that has been promoted and become part of the propaganda of the election has been, to me, it seemed pretty heightened. So even within the parties, there was so much dissent and so much division that it was just sad, because, I think people became more preoccupied with their team winning than realizing that the entire team of the United States was at stake here. Yeah. And I think that's the saddest part for me, that, despite what happened, it was supposed to be, all right, let's move forward as a country.
Right. So,
and I'm a little disappointed in the way we've behaved, and I mean everyone. I'm not pointing fingers at Republicans or conservatives. I just think collectively, I mean, as a country, I know I went abroad a few times this year, and people were looking at us like we were crazy. I went to Israel. I went to Africa. I went to, I just went all over. I mean, I traveled all over the world, and people were just like, even in Canada, they were like, "What is wrong? God, you guys get it together."
Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, me, I was like, there's this meme going around that this election was like mom and dad fighting, and all we wanted to do was go live with Grandpa Ron. Grandpa Ron Paul.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you see that meme. And yeah, I mean, I was like, oh goodness. Like when it first started, I was like, oh goodness, I wish Ron Paul was running again because this would be a lot easier. A lot easier to who to vote for, so that way, if he didn't win again, I would just be like, well, just pissed off. But anyways, enough about me. So by default, you ended up voting for Hillary.
By default, I did vote for Hillary.
Why?
I felt that Hillary was the lesser of two evils, and I also felt that she would do a better job than Donald Trump in terms of her politics. And I know she's a career politician and seasoned politician, and we keep hearing about the corruption, but I just think that the sexism did come into play with her, because I felt like corruption has been a factor in politics for many years. I mean, this is nothing new. All of these politicians are negotiable. They belong to their corporate interests, and this is not a secret. But the moment that a woman participated, it was appalling. And I was like, wow, it's amazing to me how women are held to a higher standard than men. So, to a higher moral standard. So that is why I voted for Hillary. I'm not crazy about what's going on in America, period. I thought that, this was an opportunity to shed light on how, messed up our political process has become. But at the same time, I felt that, I'm not crazy about what happened and what's been going on. But I do think that when it comes to a woman running the country, well, obviously we're not ready for it, because so many women voted against Hillary. And I thought it was really interesting that they voted for a man who has publicly stated the things that he has regarding women. And I thought that was most interesting. It's the sexism that's embedded in our culture has trickled into women and self-hate. And I thought that was, it was disheartening at a point, because just to hear the way people talked about Hillary.
Yeah.
And I will never dispute someone who has issues, fundamental issues with her politics. You're well within your right to do that. But when I heard people attack her because of her lack of warmth, and I'm like, she's a woman. George Bush Sr. wasn't warm. Why does she have to be warm? She's not your grandmother. She's going to be the president of the United States. People attacked her for being ugly, for being fat, for what she had on. Just things that women do to women. That
was none of my concern. I mean,
yeah, no, because you're actually connected to the political situation and what the politics at hand are concerned with. But when I tell you that I go out into the nation and I perform and I come in contact with people daily, the attacks on her because Bill cheated on her and, her being held accountable for Bill's indiscretions, I just thought it was downright sad. And that women who think like that are out there in the world making decisions in banks for loans for other women, making decisions, that was what was most scary to me.
So you weren't concerned about all those emails that came out?
I think that the emails were blown way out of proportion, because the email issue that occurred with several other people, and I just think she was held to a higher standard. Do I think what happened with the emails was right, or was it good? No, but I think that if she would have been somebody else, it would not have been a deal breaker.
Okay. Well, you already kind of answered number 13.
Okay.
But let me just ask it again, maybe to like get more clarification. What do you think of the women who voted for Trump? Like you said that they're self-hating.
Some of them were. I don't think all of them were. I think some people. Look, I don't criticize people who I believe have a sense and a grasp on politics, who are well informed and make their decisions based on their political decisions based on what they know in terms of researching, reading, and being informed about what the issues are. Those people I can never, ever condemn because they have their political views and have arrived at, their social and moral views based on their experiences and their information and their education. So I'm not going to say that I think that people that voted for Trump were all stupid or all dumb or lacking education. I know some intelligent people that voted for Donald Trump, and they have, their reasons. They were really concerned with the trade issues, bringing more jobs, more domestic jobs back to the country for the sake of the country, and I can't condemn people like that. But I do have issues with a lot of people, specifically people who were voting based on some of the outlandish, bigoted statements that Donald Trump, who weren't in support of that, who became emboldened by his racism and his xenophobia and his sexism. I was appalled by those people who kept talking about stuff, and I've had countless discussions with people who are discussing political issues and have no concept, no information, no sense of what really is going on politically. Mm-hmm. They're just the most ignorant people, basing their decisions on what they read on Twitter, what they see on Facebook, and base their decisions on that. People made such a big issue. Some of the dumbest people I knew, I deleted on Facebook about those emails. And when you start asking them, what exactly was it about the emails that what was the big issue? What was the bigger issue? Was that issue bigger than this? Was that issue bigger than that? This makes her dishonest. You feel that she's a liar because of this. Do you have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump lied about this? He lied about that, lied about this. Well, the issue was that Hillary Clinton is a woman, and women are innately evil, and those people that believe in the Bible, that believe that Eve was the corrupter of Adam, and believe that women have this innate evil spirit and this dishonest spirit. And those people are the ones that scared me because they were basing their decisions on nothing that had to do with facts. And they had, a hand in the future of our country.
Okay. This might sound like stupid questions, but there
are no stupid questions.
Yeah. But what did Trump say? What did you hear Trump say that said to you that he was racist?
When he said that, when he made the statements about Mexicans, I thought that it was a racist. So let me be clear about what I feel about Donald Trump. Okay. Because I don't think racism is the end all be all about Donald Trump. What I think Donald Trump is an elitist. And I think that is at his core. And when I think about these poor people who felt like they could identify with him, who felt that he was going to come and save them, no different than some of the black people that felt that Barack Obama was going to come save them. Mm-hmm. Being misinformed that way. Once they become a politician, they belong to the matrix, if you will, and then no matter what they say, they're going to still have to follow rules and they're going to have to follow suit. And those that thought that Donald Trump was going to go into the White House because he says his family is going to live in New York, who think that he's really going to be the change, I just think it's sad that people really bought into that hype. I think Donald Trump is an elitist. I think he made a lot of inflammatory statements because he tapped into the underbelly of the following that he had, and he realized that they responded to that, and that was what he was triggering, But what do I think that he's a downright KKK member? No, but has he disavowed them? No. Has he distanced himself from them? No. And the people that he is assigning to leadership are also people who somebody, what is it? Who's the guy that just said that the KKK is part of American history? Like, those are things
David
that support
Duke?
racism.
I think it was David Duke.
No. It was someone he assigned to one of his assignments, and I. Go ahead.
John Bonner.
No, I'll remember before the show is over. But yeah, so
I'm drawing a blank. He's one of his chief of staff.
Yes.
I forgot. I could Google it. But do you really well, I mean, he, in the 60 Minutes interview, he did disavow. He did tell people to stop, doing hate crimes in his name.
Well, I mean, hate crimes are up 50% in New York as of today.
Do you think Trump is responsible for that, or is it just the?
I think the people who committed the hate crimes are responsible for them. But I do think that Donald Trump has emboldened an attitude amongst people who believe that what they think Donald Trump believes, and they are going out and acting on behalf of that. I do believe that he's responsible for it in that regard, that he is encouraged and emboldened the people who don't know better, who really think that he is their leader and think that he's in line with them. And they're going out and they're doing hateful things in the name. I mean, they're with 3 college students who had their vaginas grabbed that said, the president said it's okay. There have been young women whose hijab has been snatched off their heads, saying it's Trump time. We don't do that anymore. We're not doing this anymore. The barbershop that's down the street from my house, which is Mexican owned, had a brick thrown through the window. I had a friend who was, I mean, it's just been a nightmare for those of us who have been who don't agree with the point of view of the Trump people and the Trump supporters. I've gotten threats on social media. Wow. It's been a rough run for those of us. Jank from the Young Turks, his home address was posted on social media. The death threats, the continuous threats from people who don't really realize that what's going on and really believe that Donald Trump hates everybody who's not a white man. They're in line with that, and they're going out and acting on behalf of that sentiment without knowing that he was just trying to win an election.
What do you think about the people who are against Trump burning down a Navy veteran's house?
I feel really. So first of all, I'm pro-veteran. So I'm pro anyone who has served on our military, and whether you believe, no matter what your politics are, I always believe you're supposed to support our soldiers.
Yes,
because they stand on the front line for our freedom. So I'm not in favor of that. I'm also not in favor of protesting at the expense of other citizens. I believe in peaceful protest. If you have a problem with the establishment, then you take it up with the establishment. You don't attack an individual citizen. And but I do think that for that one, Trump supporter whose house was burnt down, there are several accounts of on the other side of people who were not Trump supporters who have been also assaulted and have had horrible things happen to them post election because of that. And to all of those people, I say, whether they're pro-Trump, anti-Trump, behaving in that manner, that speaks volumes to the intellectual grade that you're dealing with. Because to go burn another individual's home down because they supported something that it seems like like you're whining. And if you really want to burn something down and you're such a badass, then go burn down Wells Fargo.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't go burn down a citizen's house.
Wells Fargo, freaking Bank of America.
If you want to burn down the establishment.
Fannie Mae or Sally Mae.
Yeah.
Go after the people behind that actually profited from the housing crash in the early 2000s. Yeah, go after them.
Yep.
Well, I don't endorse terrorism, but
No, me either.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I'm
just
just saying. I'm saying if that's really what you are, and you're anti-establishment, then you cannot go after citizens. People who are just trying to make it just like you. And that's where you lose me, is when you go do. Yeah, I just don't think you do that.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought up protesting because, you know, even though I agree with some of what this lady says, when she was on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Tommy Lauren, I don't know, when she was asked what's the proper way to protest, she didn't have an answer, which,
She seldom has an answer, and most of it is not founded on facts.
Yeah,
she's inflammatory, and she does things because she's trying to get their ratings up, because their ratings are low. When the guy who runs that network that she's on,
The Blaze
spoke out against Donald Trump. So so when it comes to TV personalities, then there are people who, so there are those political pundits who are people who are actually well versed in politics and have a background in it and have some sort of education or experience that has to do with politics. That's one thing. But when you talk about television personalities who are just expressing their point of views and their opinions, and they have a platform, I like to be really careful, because Tommy Lauren, usually makes a lot of statements that are not rooted in facts. And she gets fact checked all the time.
I actually had an answer though for that question Trevor Noah had, like what's a proper way to protest, and I posted this on Facebook. The proper way for Black Lives Matter to protest: use the only language they understand, money and power. Invest in building up communities, open up black businesses, even if it's a franchise, support black businesses, run for office, even if it's for dog catcher, and be the best at it, and vote black. And it isn't gonna be quick. You have to play the long game, but vote with your wallets. But blocking traffic, burning stuff down is not the answer. Take that.
But that's that. So first of all, Martin Luther King said that rioting is the cry of the voiceless. I don't think Tommy Lauren is in the position to talk to people who have been disenfranchised and dehumanized. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
She didn't have an answer. This is me saying this is what should happen. I mean, like, even Latinos built, remember Black Wall Street?
Yeah, no, and it was bombed. Yeah, absolutely. And they dropped the bomb on Black Wall Street, and they don't want to make a movie about it. They don't want to talk about Oklahoma because it was the first time in America where a domestic terroristic act was committed. But I do agree with that. But I do think that we skip a part when we go directly there, and we don't understand that. What happens with systemic issues in the country when it comes to the disenfranchised, people of color, people of a lower socioeconomic background, people of darker hues, is that we have forgotten why these people are behaving the way that they are. And it's because they're hungry, they lack education, they don't have jobs, they live in impoverished neighborhoods with little resources, they don't have the information, they have the bad schools, they don't have the things that people who are succeeding and winning are having. And when they tell someone, run in a race and win the race, but they tie your hands behind your back and they tie one of your legs and they put a blindfold and they give the other person a head start, and then they say to you, hey, all right, now you got to catch up and win. And then when you don't win, they call you a loser because you didn't win the race. It's really hard to understand that, because when you come from privilege and understanding, and you live in living a life that comes from, opportunities, you cannot empathize and you cannot comprehend why there are people in the middle of the street setting cars on fire and robbing televisions. That is a symptom of a greater problem. That is not that these people are, animals and they don't have the ability to be what other people are. They never had the opportunity to be because they don't have the opportunities. And so when people like me and you who come from a group of people who are disenfranchised, are able to get out, then they use us as the example and say, why can't the rest of you do it? Because we are the exception. We're not the rule. And what we need to do is throw the rope back and make sure that others that are like us get out of there. So when you look at Jewish people, which is something that they consciously made a decision to do, is they created that Israel, that together in that oneness to make sure that all Jewish people have an opportunity and win. That is something that other people in other groups don't have. And so when I hear someone like Tommy Lauren say, don't go out there and do this, you guys can do better. Take your money and put it in black businesses. What money are you talking about? You talk about people who don't have anything.
Well, she didn't say that. That's again, that was just me giving my opinion. She didn't have. She just did not have an answer.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of answers. She's been, she's risen to a place because she's speaking on behalf of a lot of ignorant people who just don't. And I don't think she's even aware of it. Like, there's just a bunch of people who don't feel like black people, Muslims, Latinos are taking what's theirs, and they believe America is theirs, even though they are the descendants of immigrants and they are immigrant people just like everybody else. They feel like everybody's closing in on them because that's what Donald Trump and a lot of people have been telling them. These are the problems because divide and conquer is real. And if you get people divided by distracting them with race and religion and culture, and they're of a lower economic grade and a lower education, they are going to fall for that, and they're going to fight, and then you keep them distracted, and then the rich people and the corporations, they get richer and richer and richer, and then you have this war. Because if you look at the people that are elite, who are really in the top 1%, you don't hear them talking about how they don't, how Bill Gates doesn't like Oprah. They don't hang out with, they don't care about it because it's about the haves and the have-nots. But the have-nots have no idea about what's going on, so they're constantly in a battle. And so when you think about, people like Tommy Lauren, who is spitting the rhetoric of those people who lack an education and have no concept, who are riddled with fear that other people are going to come take away from them what they believe is rightfully theirs, she becomes a voice for them. So she was like, oh, wow, it's like positive reinforcement. I said this bull is not rooted in fact, and it got this kind of response, then I can say this. And she's become emboldened. But when you listen to what she's saying, it's so bad that Charlemagne debated her and made her look stupid. Never mind Trevor Noah. Charlemagne shut her down. She doesn't know. She is not, what she's spitting is not rooted in fact. It's just a point of creating controversy so she can go viral and keep her job and get followers up. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I read an article where how she got her job, and it just screams white privilege.
Sure it does. Sure.
I mean, she just walked in expecting asking for a internship, and the guy just say, "How about a show?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine me. I walk in, "Hey, can I have a show? What's it gonna be called? Sofrito and rice? Get out of here."
I'm trying to.
I got you with the sofrito or rice? Where's
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You got me with the sofrito.
Actually, it's more like and the holiday special would be, of course, pasteles and coquito.
Pastel and coquito, that's my dream.
That's the holiday special. In fact, shout out to Eli Castro. He's another comedian I've had on the show. He has this funny, real funny video, how to make coquito. It's hilarious.
Oh wow.
So he listens. I don't know, he doesn't. Let me stop lying. But anyways, I want to break this down into like two like angles. Like when it comes to the Trump administration, as a woman, what are your major concerns? Just as a woman.
Well, as a woman, being in the reign of where a man who has publicly said the things that he has said about women throughout time, the misogyny that is undeniable, I'm really concerned on a fundamental level about the safety of women. The safety of women in the workplace, the safety of women on college campuses throughout the country, the safety of women, just everywhere, because his attitude towards women, the things that he has said even about his own daughter and his wives, and the things that he has said about women, from Rosie O'Donnell on down to the Miss Universe, it has created, it has just invigorated this movement that's this misogynistic movement that is ever present in the United States. And those of us, who have been victims of sexual assault, that heightens that fear. And it just keeps you on edge, because now you know that there are people who feel like they can really act on some of the things that they act on because Donald Trump is their president. That fundamentally is one of the things that I'm concerned about. And I felt it so much, after being on the Young Turks. The attacks that I get versus the men have always been, people suggesting that I get raped, or calling me the C word, or just being volatile.
You can say it here. I mean, this is, go ahead. It's uncensored.
No,
I'm just...
but it's just being volatile towards me as a woman, and because I'm a woman, and that scares me on a greater level, because, the policeman, there was an incident with one of my girlfriends here, with a Trump supporter, who ended up lying on my friend and saying that, she was black, and she said, fuck Trump, and she lied on her and said that my friend tried to kill her. And then the police came, and the police officer told my friend, "You have no idea how much we've had to deal with since this election." He said this level of privilege, and it's become, so many of these Trump supporters calling the police, demanding that the police be abusive to other citizens that are people of color or women, because they feel like they can. And the cop himself was like, "This is costing the city so much money. It's so ridiculous." So I just have to say that this administration, when it comes to, issues with reproductive rights, when it comes to issues of, wherever you stand on the issue of abortion, the suggestion that Donald Trump has made about, creating a system of punishment for women who have abortions, as if an abortion in itself isn't some level of punishment unto itself to some women. I just think that his attitude towards women plays itself out in his office, and I think that that's the scariest thing when it comes to women. For me to go through a list of issues that I think are, I think sexual harassment will be up. I think it is up in college campuses. Sexual assault will be up. Like, those are the things that really concern me, when you have someone who expresses this smug attitude about misogyny, and then it trickles down to a movement of people who, like, look at those alt-right guys. Like, they seem ridiculous. They sound crazy. They're saying that they are white supremacists, but they have Tila Tequila at their rallies, and she's Asian.
Well, she considers herself a white nationalist. I don't know.
She's Asian, though.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to her. Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like when she came out with the I love Hitler, like, the picture of her in front of Auschwitz. I'm like, I'm thinking, well, at least now she's closer to my league.
Yeah, but I don't understand how they would welcome her. Like, she's supposed to be.
Well, when you're hot, you could get away with a lot of crap. Like Like, see, if I was better looking, I could have gotten away with that joke, and it just didn't work, and it's not working now. So I'm just gonna stop trying. Just moving on. As a Latina, what are your concerns when it comes to you being like as a Latin American? As a Puerto Rican Dominican, which I still don't understand how that works. But are you more huepa or more que la vaina?
I'm Puerto Rican, and my father, biologically, this comes up a lot, and people think that I get a lot of backlash from Dominicans who say that they don't feel like I like them, or I'm not proud of being Dominican. I'm proud of being what I am, and biologically what I am is Puerto Rican and Dominican because my father is from the Dominican Republic. What I am culturally is Puerto Rican. My father abandoned me when I was little. I grew up in my Puerto Rican family. I grew up eating Puerto Rican food, talking Puerto Rican, listening to Puerto Rican music. My favorite artist is Hector Lavoe. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have the benefit of being exposed to the Dominican culture because I wasn't part of that. That wasn't part of my family and my life. So I cannot deny what I am. I don't speak like Dominicans, and it's not because I don't want to or because I feel like it's beneath me. It's just honestly, culturally, that's not what I grew up in. I grew up eating pasteles and malcapurria and drinking malta with my abuela, listening to Hector Lavoe, eating coquito, eating pana. That's how I grew up. And so it's a conflict for me because I am part Dominican and it lives in me because it is who I am. But I'm just not culturally, that's not the culture that I gravitate towards because I wasn't exposed to it when I was little or at all in my life.
Okay. But so as a Latina, what are your concerns about the Trump administration, like specifically as a Latin person?
Well, I mean, as a Latin person, I'm also a collective thinker, and people ask me all the time, why do I care about immigration? Why do I care about, my father has been deported. I'm an anchor baby. My father lives in the Dominican Republic. I haven't seen him since I was little, and he's not allowed to come back to the United States. My father is far from a criminal, far from a derelict. He just wanted to come here to build a better life, create better opportunities for his children. And so I fear that the mistreatment of immigrants, the dreamers, the kids that are here that have been here their whole lives and have obtained an education and are trying to better themselves and create better opportunities for their families, not only being deported but being mistreated while they were here. We have some kids that we work with that are dreamers, and they're at the University of California, and they had guns pulled on them when Donald Trump became president. They had to get security escorts. So as a Latina, I feel that collectively, I have to think about all of my people. When they say, hey, you're Puerto Rican and you're American and you're a citizen, why do you care about immigration? Because I should care about immigration, because Mexican people are my brothers and sisters. People from Guatemala are my brothers and sisters. And it is my job to stand on the front line from them because I am naturally a citizen. I believe that's my job as an activist and as a person with a level of consciousness. A lot of the issues that have to do with Latinos in America is the attitude towards them and the racism and the bigotry towards Latinos. The assumption that Mexicans are here to take everybody's jobs when Mexicans, in reality, do jobs that most Americans who are entitled and spoiled will not do. Nobody wants to go out and mow the lawn. Nobody wants to pick up the trash. They're called lazy. They're called whatever. There are hardworking people that are willing to do jobs that most people won't do for the sake of bettering their family and their lives. And that is my concern is that our legacy and our pride and our integrity and our characters being questioned because we're always being treated as outsiders when in fact we belong to be here just like everybody else.
Oh, okay. So where do you get your news from?
Independent sources a lot, because I try to stay away from organizations that lean right or left. I try to stay more on the independent route.
Like where?
Which is why I gravitate towards the Young Turks a lot, because I think that a lot of the information that they provide doesn't come with a lean. Even though they did support Hillary, they were not Hillary people. They were Bernie people. They just had to. They felt like they had to support Hillary because Donald was just so extreme with the craziness that came from the Donald Trump regime. But I read a lot, and I try to read, world news from world outlets, not just what America tells you is happening in Egypt or Israel, but what Israel tells you is happening in Israel. And I get a lot of my information from traveling, because I went to Israel and to Palestine to study the conflict. And that was more educational for me than picking up, or clicking on an article that is always feeding the Palestinian-Israeli conflict with no real information as to why all of this stuff is really happening.
But where specifically? Like, let's say I want to read the news that you read. Where would I go?
You should go to the Young Turks' website. You should go to Alternet. I can email you a bunch of different places where I get information from. Some of the places that I go where people call conspiracy theory sites, which I don't think are conspiracy theory sites, but I try to stay away from, I read a lot of articles on the Bipartisan Report, but I do, I read newspapers. I like to read newspapers.
Do you like InfoWars?
I do like InfoWars.
Oh wow, that's surprising.
Mm-hmm. I don't like InfoWars, but I read from InfoWars because I think that I just think you should get information from all sources, and I think that I like to go to those places where you don't see a lot of ads.
Mm-hmm.
Where you feel like you're getting information from people who just want to give you information, not when you see all those ads.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody's paying for it.
Okay, that's that question. What do you think of Trump's tax plan?
I think Trump's tax plan is, okay. So when I operate from the belief that Trump is an elitist, and what he is doing, what he's going to do eventually it's to benefit, the top 1%. And everybody else is going to suffer at the expense. So when I think about Donald Trump, and I think about the things that he proposes, and the plans, like for example, he just said he was going to veto the building of the building of a new Air Force One, which he let us know by way of Twitter, of course. I don't know that I believe what Donald Trump says, because he flip-flops and he goes back and forth so much. And I just want to see more in-depth information as to what the real tax plan is going to be and how that's going to be executed realistically in the land.
Well, it's going to have to get past Senate and oh goodness, why am I having a brain fart now?
Like to Congress
and the Senate before, but so with everything, what do you think the Trump what do you think the next 4 years are going to look like? Are you hopeful? Do you think all hell's gonna break loose? The race war is gonna begin? What?
The race war has been going on for a really long time, and I think that all hell has been breaking loose before Donald Trump. I think that the Barack Obama in office really brought to light the bigotry that was so abundant in this country. But what I do think is that, before an enlightening period in a society, there's always a dark period. And I think that that's what this is. And Donald Trump would be the dark period. The dark Donald Trump era will be a dark period in America. But I think that when we come out on the other side, that it will be a period of light. And I believe that. I think that all of these things have to come to light so that we can deal with them. Because otherwise they're just bubbling and nobody's aware. Now we know who the people that hate Latinos. We know the people that hate Black people. We know the people that, hate Muslims. We know the people that think, that feel the way that they feel about women. We have an idea of who those people are. And I think that better equips us to deal with them and to deal with these issues.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think of people like me who, I'm not a racist. I'm not a sexist. I don't go around. I do troll. I like to wear my Hillary for Prison shirt because I don't say anything. I just like the looks I get because it's just hilarious to me. But
right.
But what do you think of people like me that we voted for Trump because we like what he said about more jobs coming in, the tax plan, us basically not being China's economic bitch.
Well, I can't say that I have anything against somebody who says these things because I feel like I said, if your vote was made as an informed decision based on where you feel your political beliefs are and what where you'd like to see us go and what was most important to you in terms of your priorities politically, then what can I say to you? But if I feel like you voted because you want to see Mexicans get deported and you want to see Muslims get beat up, then that's where my issue is, and that's the difference.
Well, I do believe that there should be some vetting, some better vetting when it comes to allowing migrants in. Just judging by what's going on in Europe with the migrants the migrants flowing in. And I mean, look what happened in Ohio. You got that Somalian guy that was stabbing people and running people over. Mm-hmm. I mean, but then again, I also have that. I also am a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. So I also know that the global elite are winding these people up. They created ISIS, they created Al Qaeda, and they're using these people, most of them severely uneducated, to carry these things out. And a lot of what's going on now in this country, my belief is that this is blowback.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's another reason why, I'm hoping Trump just ends a lot of these bullshit wars and just sees that us being the police of the world is what's causing a lot of these problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, Trump was never my first choice. I needed someone libertarian, but Gary Johnson was just retarded.
Aleppo.
Honestly, that didn't even bother me. He didn't know where Aleppo is or what Aleppo is, because as a libertarian, you are more you're focused on this country, and it's you're not isolationist, but if you're you can't be the police of the world worrying about what's going on and these people, if I can make a Dr. Seuss reference, they butter their toast on the wrong side. Like we gotta go do something about that. Like it's like no, why we're doing that?
Right.
But Gary Johnson, I mean, it's like I've actually had him on this show before, but he's just boring.
That was the problem. You had to be exciting this
like
this
no,
this
it was
go
like
on.
he's like yes, Gary, we know. You're doing libertarian 101. Like, dude, are you even serial? Are you serial right now? No, you're not. You're just his phone was crappy. It was like, dude, can you get a better phone? No? Oh, this is going to suck. I ended up having to cut the interview short, and I just deleted the episode because I was like, no. No, Ron Paul or nobody. But, yeah.
Yeah, I just me.
So Anna Kasparian, is she single? Or is she married?
She's married. She's married.
Damn it. The crazy ones always get married first. I'm just
She
kidding.
just got married and she's not crazy.
Nah, I'm just kidding. So, what are your thoughts on on Trump's foreign policy?
I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna leave it there.
Alrighty, that was quick. What about thoughts on his cabinet so far?
I think his cabinet is scary.
Even with Ben Carlson?
Especially with Ben Carson.
Oh, okay. Like my god sister, she says he should have been appointed as a Surgeon General.
Absolutely, where his expertise is. But he's been appointed because they felt his expertise is being black.
Really? He's back?
I love you.
Oh. See, now that's gonna carry me over for the rest of the week. So I'm just gonna take that. Take that snippet from the show. That's gonna be my new ringtone.
Love it.
Yeah. So I mean, goodness, is that all? Is that I kind of got everything? Did I get everything?
I think so. We've been talking for an hour.
Yeah, we got everything. So you're coming to New York?
Yeah, I'll be in New York in a couple of weeks. I'll be performing there at the Stand in the Cellar. And then I'll be off to Connecticut to do a show in Mohegan Sun.
You know, I always wondered, what do they call people from Connecticut? Like, you're a Californian, I'm a New Yorker. Like, what are people from Connecticut called?
I don't know. I'm gonna look that up.
I mean, I've been Googling that like crazy, like what, like Connecticutans or Connecticutians or Connecticutters or Connecticut C words. Because I know you don't want. I know you don't want to hear that word, so I cleaned it up just for you.
Thank you.
I try. So, so what are the dates? What are your dates?
So we're coming back. We're coming now on the 26th, and we haven't gotten the exact dates of the venues, but the 26th through the 28th. Then I go to Connecticut from the 28th to the 30th, the 31st, and then I go back to New York until the 3rd.
And you're at Funny Aida on the Twitter. Also, I don't know if I should say this out loud. I was on your website today, and the buttons don't work.
No, I know. They're redoing my website as we speak. That's that's what's going on.
Okay, so I thought it was me. I was going through my computer. Did I update the Flash? The Flash is not working. The job?
No, they're working on it right now as we speak. So a lot of stuff isn't working on the site. They're gonna update everything.
Oh, okay. So, and when are you usually on the Young Turks? So if people want to catch you there.
It's not a set day, but usually throughout the week they'll send me some dates. I was on Friday, so maybe I'll be on next week again. I'm not sure, but I will let you know.
They should really just give you your own show and fire Chank.
Well, I did a show there. It's called Our America, and if you go on the Young Turks, you can see clips of the show.
All right. So, okay, Our America. Do they give you a set schedule there?
Well, we shot the pilot and they put them up, and we're gonna go back and start shooting it with frequency. We don't know if it's gonna be weekly or if it's gonna be monthly, but I'll let you know for sure.
Okay. So again, follow her at Funny Aida on the Twitter. Do you have like anything else you want to promote?
I'm in Robert De Niro's movie, The Comedian, which is out in New York and LA now, but It's out wide on January 13th. And I will be on the Shaq All-Star Comedy Special that is going to be airing on Showtime in the next couple of months.
Nice. All right. And as always, you're great to have on.
Thank you for having me. I love being on here.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
You better. I'm adorable.
Yeah, you are.
That's gonna be my new. There's gonna be like I love you and yeah, you are adorable. Okay, that's gonna be my new. Meditation tape. I'm gonna put that in the loop for an hour for positive reinforcement because I don't hear that a lot.
Well, you'll hear it from me every time you talk to me.
Aw, yay. So, you're always welcome to come on if you just want to rant, if you like, because this is a true safe space. If you want to come on here, it's like, Louis, I need to say the N-word for an hour. I'm like, okay, I'll fire it up.
Hilarious. I definitely will keep that in mind. I always enjoy our exchanges.
Yeah, well, I try.
You do it.
I try. I just really try to be a good boy.
Good for you.
Even though I fail miserably most of the time. But anyways, I'd like to thank everyone for listening today. Come back next week, Tuesday at 10 p.m. live. You can chat. We're also on... what's this we? The show's on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Spreaker.com. You can download the episodes for free. And as always, from my house to your house, mahalo.
Bye.
That's the end of my show. Donk.